What's up, guys? This is Brent with Western Equipment. Now let's jump right on in and talk about what the best ramps are for loading your mower into the bed of your pickup. Now the ramps here that I have are going to be the foldable 8-foot big boy easy riser with the 1,500 pound loading capacity. Now for a lawnmower that's going to go in the bed of your pickup, these are definitely overkill as far as how much weight they can hold, but you want to make sure that if you're looking into these ramps, you may be doing more than just loading your mower with them, so always going bigger and beefier is going to be better. Now, this is not going to be the only ramp that you could buy to load your mower. Whenever I'm talking about the best ramp for loading your mower, we want to talk about a few different things that you need to make sure and be looking into when you're buying your ramps to make sure that you're going to be able to do this safely and easily. Now, the first thing and most common thing that you're going to look into whenever getting these ramps is obviously going to be the length of the ramp. Now, like I said here, I have 8 footers. What you're most commonly going to see are going to be 7.5 footers, but there is a reason why I went with an 8 foot. And that is going to have to do with the angles that you're going to get whenever using these ramps. Now, a good way to think about this is whenever you're putting these ramps on to the tailgate of your pickup, what you're doing is essentially making a right triangle going down to the ground, coming out, and then your ramp being the other side of your triangle here. So 2 angles are really going to come into play. One is going to be down here at your small angle, and then one is at the top. Now, why this is a big deal is because the longer the ramp that you have here, the shorter the angle that you have here at the corner, which also makes for easier going into the bed of your pickup. So whenever we're going up these ramps, what we're going to see is that whenever we get to the top, we have a certain pinch point here that where the mower deck is going to go up and over the top of that ramp and into the pickup bed. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to have that mower deck hitting the bottom and bottoming out on your tailgate and possibly damaging the components up underneath, such as your spindle or your blades. So we want to make sure that we have a long enough ramp and a small enough angle here at the end to make sure we have that clearance when we get to the top. So whenever we go to an 8-foot ramp, and if we use on average a 35-inch height of the top of our tailgate here, what you're going to be looking at is a 22-degree angle here at the base. So with the different sets of ramps that you can get, the different lengths, you can see that as you change that length of ramp, that angle changes. And as that angle changes and your ramp gets longer, you are going to have more and more clearance as you're going up and into the bed. Now, once we've got that angle figured out and we've got that length figured out and we have that ramp picked, now the next thing we need to start looking into are these safety features, because we want to make sure whenever we are using these ramps, we feel safe and comfortable when doing it. And this is all going to have to do with the features of this ramp, starting with the load capacity. So like I said here on these big boy easy risers, each one of these ramps is going to have a 1,500 pound capacity. So if you break that up over 2 with the mower, you technically can put up to 3,000 pounds on these ramps. Now, no mower that you're going to have that's going to go into the bed of a pickup is going to exceed that 3,000 pound range. So if you're up here in this size of ramp, you are good to go. So once we move up from the load capacity here, the next thing that we need to start looking into is the way it secures to the tailgate. Now, here on these big boy easy risers, you are going to have a rubber grip pad along with this L bracket right here that mounts up nice to the end of the tailgate to make sure and provide enough traction that these ramps are not going to slip away from that tailgate whenever you're driving up and on. But what you also want to always make sure and have on these ramps are going to be the safety straps. Now, these are going to be the straps that mount underneath the ramp and go to your bumper to help hold that ramp to the tailgate. Now, this may seem like something that you don't necessarily need, but let me tell you, even with a small mower, whenever you are going up and it starts to catch traction, if it starts to slip here on the ramp, it could shoot those ramps off away from your pickup bed, and then you're in trouble. So make sure that you do have those straps to hold these ramps to the pickup bed. Now, one thing to think about that we may not whenever we're thinking about the safety of these ramps is going to be the grip. So what kind of tread pattern do these ramps have on it? Are these going to be the single bar styles that kind of look like a ladder that are going up and on? Are these going to be ones that have a full solid floor like this that has these nice grip spikes on it that make sure and really grab onto those tires? What are we looking at here? So we want to make sure that we have something that is going to grab well on those tires to make sure that whenever you are going up and on, we're not having to hit that that at full speed to go up and into it. We want to make sure that we can go low and slow and still climb up these ramps into that pickup bed safely. And more importantly, whenever we're coming off, we want to make sure that we have a grip, that we're not just going to slide down that ramp. Now, along with this, we also want to think about, whenever we are looking into these ramps, how are we going to store these? Not only how are we going to store them whenever we're not using them, but how are we going to store them whenever we are going from place to place? Because if we're loading our mower up in one spot, we're going to have to unload it at the next spot. So we want to make sure that these ramps are going to fit in the bed of our pickup, or maybe even in the cab, wherever that is. So another good idea is to look into a set of folding ramps. So you want to make sure that they do have a good fold in the middle, they have a good hinge, they're going to stay solid whenever you are going up and over them, and make sure that they are going to fit back with your mower once you get it loaded. Because like I said, once we get it loaded in, we're going to have to unload it, and more than likely you're going to go to another place that may not have ramps. So make sure that you get a set that you can store and take with you very easily. Now, once you've got your ramps picked out, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind whenever you do go to load that mower into the bed of your pickup. For one, we've got to think about the amount of space that we have. So with the bed of a pickup here on a standard half-ton pickup, what you're looking at usually is about a 5.5 foot bed. And then you're going to have those fender wells in the back that you are normally going to get between 49 and 50 inches in between those fender wells. So we have to remember that whenever we are going to load one of these mowers, that mower deck has to be able to go in between those fender wells. So a lot of times what this is going to limit you to is a 42-inch mower deck. Maybe getting up into a 44, maybe a 46, but not any larger than that, because what we have to remember is if it is a 42-inch cut mower deck, what we're actually going to be looking at as far as the width can be somewhere between 44 and 46 inches. And that is without the chute over on the side, because on those mower decks, you're going to have a little bit more width to each side than what the cutting width is. So keep that in mind. Also, whenever you are loading these mowers, you want to make sure, like I said, going up low and slow, making sure that you are pulling this mower forward, because we have to think about whenever we're traveling down the road with this, we want to make sure that our hood is going the same direction as the hood of our vehicle. Because whenever we're talking about the wind coming up and over the cab, we don't want that wind to happen to catch this hood, fling it open, break it off, be blowing on the back of that seat, blowing it forward, making it flop around. We want to make sure and pull it in forward, just like we would be driving down the road. Now, also, once you get that into the bed of the pickup, a lot of times what you're going to have is not enough room to be able to shut the tailgate of your pickup. So we want to make sure that we have some extra straps on hand to make sure we can secure that mower into the bed of the pickup. Now, on some, you might be able to get that tailgate closed, but always make sure and plan to have those extra straps to make sure you can secure that mower if you are not able to shut your tailgate, to make sure that you have that thing all the way buckled in. So guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope this video helped you out. And if it did, we just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, if you're needing any John Deere parts at all, make sure to go check us out at 247parts.com. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to check out this cool video and this one. Buy your parts right up here and subscribe right here.